Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Valentino Megale, and welcome back to this RBS Innovation Bites series. Over the past 3 months, we had the opportunity to discover a little bit more how new technologies can be used to innovate your business, to innovate your productivity. As you are the alumni community of RBS, you are coming from so many different backgrounds. And the goal of the series of interviews is really to explore several niches and several fields so that you can access the great expertise of professionals and the experts that I have the great opportunity and the great pleasure to interview. We started with generative AI for managing video creations with Michele Di Pasquale. We then continued about exploring the future of luxury and the future of digital marketing with Francesco Pagano. And today, in this special interview, we are going to explore a particular intersection of topics: emerging technologies and women's health. We are going to have the opportunity to talk with Maria Chiara Tirinzoni. A brief intro about Maria Chiara: she's the co-founder of Eva and Rosso APS. It's an organization dedicated to promoting menstrual awareness and women's health. And she's also part of the Festival of the Menstrual Cycle in Milan that just ended right now during this weekend. She is also a co-founder of the new group called Theodorisa Studio that is focused on research and ethics in the domain of artificial intelligence. So let me introduce on our digital stage, Maria Chiara. Welcome, Maria Chiara.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Valentino and RBS, for having me here. And so ready to explore the relationship between female health and technology today with you.
Amazing. Thanks a lot, Maria Chiara, for being here. And I want to start with a question. You are an intersection of many expertise and many fields, and you explore several touch points between technology, ethics, compliance, policies, and also women's health, and also, I would say, the topics of accessibility to women's health, and sometimes also the taboos. So my question is, how emerging technologies, and when I say emerging technologies, I say artificial intelligence, of course, the latest models, but also XR technologies, such as virtual reality and augmented reality. In your expertise, how these technologies are reshaping women's health, how they are changing the problems that sometimes are overlooked, and also how they enable women to access a more personalized care.
Thank you. So the key word in this case is, of course, data, because every collection of data, including the health and the female health data, they come always from a decision. So we don't have neutral data usually. We don't have neutral data set. We have data set that are shaped by some kind of decision and, of course, some kind of biases and so on. And in the female health field, especially, this decision is the one that defines the standard body, the standard patient as male. So the standard body is usually the male body, and that can create already a set of decisions that shape the way we collect data, understand data, structure data, and take further decisions about the bodies themselves. So what can emerging technology do for that? First of all, to uncover this thing, because, for example, we already see a lot of experiences where the use of large language models uncover biases because they somehow expand them. And then we can see what is happening, just for example, how the models can answer in a male or female way when we talk about different levels of expertise or about different kind of illness and patients. So when we talk about that, we have a great ambiguity that is the one between privacy, biases, but also the possibility to access more data. And for example, if we think about using AI to create new data sets, for example, starting from existing data sets or existing experiences, then we can, on one side, uncover how biased our existing data are, and then we can also create new predictive structures based on the fact that we already know which are the biases for us. And on the other side, one of the most important aspects for me of emerging technologies is that they are all extended us. So they are not just I don't know, a technology still in the words in the field of female health. We are used to technologies like diagnosis technologies or the contraceptive pill. We can take this example as a very important technology in female health. These are tools that have an immediate impact on the body, and they have an immediate relationship with the body. With emerging technologies, we are experiencing technologies that are not so close, let's say almost literally, not so close to the bodies. They extend the bodies in different ways. So what we can see is that we can use extended reality or virtual reality to give experiences to bodies that they are not usually able to live that experience. On a way, for example, with the Festival of the Menstrual Cycle, we are talking about a project where we can let men experience how it is to live one day with period. On the other side, we can help women understand how it is to live with a specific kind of period, let's say a normal one, so not painful, not so difficult to manage, in comparison to a heavy period, a period that can be connected with some disease, for example.
What was the feedback of the participators or the attendees?
So for this year, we weren't able to actually offer this experience, but we created some, we call them circle of words. It means some kind of groups where the female perspective and the male perspective on the period could be together. And this was the first year that we were able to do this, and it was a very interesting experience. We had 50 people, probably. I don't remember exactly how many, but this is a great number. Exactly half male and half female discussing periods together. And from this experience, we can go further, of course. And the last thing I want to say about technologies like AI is a very famous FemTech tool is cycle tracking tools. And they are the perfect example of this ambiguity I was mentioning before, because on one side, we have privacy issues. We already know that many of these tools, even if they say they don't, they actually give, for example, aggregated data to brands for different reasons. And on the same, at the other side, we can see that many women, they just got educated thanks to these apps, because often doctors help you track your symptoms and track your cycle moments. So the menstrual cycle has different phases, of course, it's not just menstruation. But this happens when something is already wrong. You know, for example, you want to have a baby, and so you start tracking your ovulation, or you have painful periods or PMS or psychological symptoms, and then you start tracking other things. But the thing is that we already have all the elements that we can track and be aware of, and be able to live a more, let's say, more aware life thanks to data and data tracking in this case.
Yeah, that's interesting that today women have the opportunities to, as you said, already track their menstrual cycle, their women's related stages and phases without necessarily waiting for a disruptive moment.
Exactly.
And this can be an empowering process, no? And beyond just health, it can be a way to control more parts of your own life. And we get the opportunity also to explore in some researches how XR technologies can be useful to explore gender diversity, to explore identity diversity. We recently published also a paper on that. And so I want to ask you how actually technology can serve us today to have a more reactive approach to maybe also to these topics, to the topics of identity and gender, instead of just having a passive way of life. Just accepting technology can give us the opportunity to explore. Maybe a short snippet about that.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think that we have the opportunity now not just to, look differently and at what we already have, at the information we already have. But for example, thanks to female startup, FemTech startups, we are able to generate new data and to apply this data, because it's not just about having the data. The problem is to use them in an effective way. So what we can do is not being just reactive, not being just passive, so waiting for the disruption to do anything, but to be aware of some of these processes. The menstrual cycle is a perfect example in this case too. And to be able to see before it happens that something is off, for example. I remember a friend of mine who had a slight a heart problem of some kind. I don't remember exactly what, but as you maybe know, I don't know, heart attack, for example, have a very different symptom set in women than in men.
Yeah.
So it often happens that when you go to the emergency room, they don't recognize that you're having a heart attack. That is thanks to different factors, including biases. But there is also, exactly a data set that says that works different if you understand it from a male female body perspective. So this friend of mine was wearing a tracker, like the kind of smartwatch thing, and she started seeing that something was different than it was usually. Just a slight, I don't know, the number of the beats of her heart or some very slight characteristic, very slight difference. She decided to go deeper and go to a doctor because she sensed that something. She didn't have any kind of bodily symptoms, so she didn't feel anything.
But she knew something was going on. Strange.
Yeah, but based on the data, she decided to go, and she was right. So she had this light problem, and she was able to treat it very long before it could become I don't know, a life issue or
Well,
a harder problem, let's say.
that's a great example of proactive approach, to both data and this is also the reminder that data literacy is useful always by design. It's not useful only in the professional domain, but it's useful also in our life. Today we can quantify so much of our life. We can use this data that we usually just provide, sometimes even with no aware consent to social media. We can use this kind of data to empower and to control our lives. And I want just to reconnect to this. We were talking about virtual reality and something that we discuss in many cases. There is a bias also in the design of virtual reality devices. So the ergonomics of virtual reality headsets, they are traditionally set on male standards and not women. And this is why in our paper we showed that women have a higher probability of suffer of cyber sickness.
Mm-mm.
So sometimes it's not about being a woman, but it's about technology that is not designed for women.
Yeah, at the same, it's the same conversation that goes on, because we don't just have the data, we need to apply the data. We already know that, for example, a hormonal cycle affects some aspects of the cognitive functions for women, including the spatial orientation thing. So, and that's basically one of the problem, because of course it's more difficult to gather data from women's body, because women's bodies are not always the same. They change during the month.
Yeah.
But this is where emerging technologies can help us, because they make incredibly easier to collect this data in a less invasive way. Let's think about immersive words, when we can understand, for example, all the special cognition, for example, since we are talking about that, but also different kind of reaction, different ways to explore the spaces. At the Festival of Menstrual Cycle, we had an association that works with what they call feminist urbanism. That means they explore how women live in the cities, and the way they live the city, they explore the city, they walk in the cities, they choose which kind of public transportation to use, they choose which street to walk in at night. All these data, they are very difficult to gather, because you have to go and ask actually you have to go and ask the people, and not everyone is aware of what of the choices they are making. If we are creating, for example, thanks to dedicated virtual worlds, virtual environments, where we can create a lab, and we make the people in a, let's say we put people in a simpler situation, we can study and we can understand how these choices are made, and then we can take it back and use data and apply this data in our cities, for example. This is all, I mean, it's all together. It's not something. It's not like cities are working in a way and hospitals are working in another way, and I don't know, the offices are working in a different way. They are all part of the same bias that we are trying to uncover and solve somehow.
That's interesting, because we bring our patterns with us whenever we go, from using products to working in the office to living in the cities. That's very interesting as a research field. And so we were studying a little bit of FemTech, the technologies that can empower, support, solve problems for women. So in your opinion, what are the skills to embrace this field, to be the solution, also an entrepreneurial solution in the field of FemTech?
First of all, for sure, the technological literacy, and both from the leaders and the designers' perspective, and from the users' perspectives. So how these data are affecting my privacy, this data collection app is affecting my privacy, how I can design a tool that is accessible to everyone. Let's say the glasses, the extended reality glasses, or whatever technology we have and we are designing, how can we design it for everyone? And this is, of course, the basics. The second level, which is at least this of the same importance, is an ethical reasoning mindset. So whenever we are designing something, it should be ethical by design, where ethical encompasses the attention to regulation, to policy, and to government, but also to the fact that we always have to put the human at the center of our projects. and at the same time, always speaking with FemTech leaders, everyone is like, okay, we are like a subcategory, we have a very specific niche. Actually, women are not a niche. And this is
Exactly.
this is something incredible, because we are speaking about femtech like it's something like super specific.
Yeah, it's a minority. It's a small minority somewhere there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's not. Also for the market, women make 50% at least of the market. So also from a business perspective, this awareness is something that femtech leaders should have. And second, or third, I don't remember, I forgot the number. We need to, and this is not something that refers just to femtech, but to all the efforts for inclusion and for so all the effort to fill the gender gap in technology and in other fields. Which is, I'm not sure of the English word for that. In Italian, it would be benaltrismo. So,
Okay.
so it's the idea that if you are thinking or if you are taking care of a specific problem, then you are automatically forgetting or deleting the other problem. This is not true. And this is one of the mindset we really have to erase from our mind, because it's not like that. If I take care, for example, of period health, which can seem very specific, then I'm taking care of families. I'm taking care of society. So if I'm working on a tool that can ease, I don't know, PMS symptoms, or can help a woman navigate cities in a better way, I'm taking care also of the children, probably, because often a woman decides how to get somewhere because she has, I don't know, a little kid with her, or she's pregnant, or she's on her period and she needs to know where the toilets are in the public spaces.
So all of these problems, they are not mutually exclusive.
Totally.
This is the goal. Just because you focus on one, you're not excluding the others, and they all can coexist. The solutions also can coexist. It will be good.
And they can affect positively each other. Exactly. This is also very, very important. And absolutely. The last, which is, I mean, it's very connected to what I just said, cross-sector collaboration.
Okay.
It's not that I'm working on female health and that means I cannot collaborate with an ethical AI or with a business school, or with, I don't know, a design firm, because they are all connected. And I think that the leaders of tomorrow and also of today in every field of business need to know that we are all interconnected in an existential way, but also in a design and business way.
Perfect. No, that's amazing. Multidisciplinarity once again plays a key role. There is no field in which multidisciplinarity is not fundamental and a priority. So, Maria Chiara, we arrived at the end of this short meeting, and I'd like also to invite you to say how our audience can follow you and where they can find you, and also maybe just one sentence about the Festival of the Menstrual Cycle.
Okay, so you can find me with my name on Instagram or LinkedIn, of course, and on our brand new and still under construction website at theodicea.studio. And of course, if you have any question, I'm super open to answer you. You can find more information about Eva and Rosso and the Festival of Menstrual Cycle on the website and social networks of the festival. The name is in Italian. It's ilfestivaldelciclomestruale.com. And what can I say? So the festival has been, maybe my voice is still a bit rough because yesterday we So we finished, I don't know, it was 1 in the night or something like that, because especially this year we for external circumstances, but also because of an aware decision, we were totally self-sufficient in an economical way, let's say. And this was the reason why we were free to be more political and more explicit on what the political value of bodies is. So what I can say is, so my last thing could be, everything you are doing is somehow political in the classical way, so in the Greek way, because when we act, we are designing a tool, we are opening a new business, so we are fighting for our rights, we are deciding to create a new festival and to have this kind of festive style to speak about politics and speak about rights. Whatever you are deciding to do will have consequences in the world. Innovation means putting new things in the world. So if we are doing innovation, we are inherently political in this way, that we are shaping the society we are in, and we will be.
Amazing, Maria Chiara. Thanks so much for being here. We touched many topics. We could talk a lot. We could talk much more, but the timing is this. I also want to remember to all of the attendees that you can subscribe to the newsletter of the RBS alumni. Please join the community, share the community with all of your past colleagues, and once again, Maria Chiara, it was definitely a pleasure. Thanks a lot for being here, and talk very soon. And for all of the attendees, see you soon in 1 month with a new guest. Thank you, Maria Chiara, and
Thank you, and good luck to all the students.
Thank you. Bye-bye.